July 26, Parks Board meeting to order. First order of business is the approval of the minutes from last meeting, July 12th.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Second order is Resolution 30673, considering board approval and agreement with Rhythm and Balloons. Mark?
Yes, Commissioners, we have before you a memo from Terrence that outlines this proposed event coming up in August of this year at Hodge Park. And Terrence is here to answer any questions, and I'm sure he's going to want to introduce our guests that are involved in the planning of this event. Terrence.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. We have before you today Rhythm and Balloons, and they for use and concession agreement for Hodge Park. To my understanding, to be the first of its kind in the area, and we're very excited to have the possibility of it being in Hodge Park. And we have here for you today Robbie and Steve Small that would like to answer any other questions you may have. I'll bring them up.
Great.
He's older, but what can I say? Anyway, thank you all so much for allowing us to be here and for encouraging us to be at the Hodge Park location, August 26th, 27th, 28th. We are a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. We're going to put on a festival with music, with 4 different entertainers, including Travis Tritt, Jody Messina, Eddie Money, and Los Lobos. And that's in addition to the whole total of 14 bands over the weekend. And the pièce de résistance, the hot air balloons. The hot air balloons that will glow and perform and whatever all weekend. Now, balloons, and I know we have a limited amount of time, but just so you know, balloons are very temperamental, and they only do their thing about an hour before sunset. And when the winds, and it can't rain and it can't blow too much and whatever. And that's part of the reason that we're doing all this music, so that people are going to have a really good time no matter what. But we've got 40, 45, and perhaps up to 50 hot air balloons that will be coming from all over the country, including special shaped balloons. I know that we're getting a Keystone Cop special shaped balloon, and there'll be 5 altogether from all over, and that'll be part of it. And they're huge. They're even bigger. They're twice as big as a regular hot air balloon. So we're excited about doing it. There will be tethered balloon rides, the ones that go up and down, where the ropes hold it down, that you can take. Vendors, non-food, food vendors. And we're shuttling everybody into the park. That's important for you to know, because the only people that will be allowed to park at the park will be the volunteers, of which there are a limited number, the performers, and who am I leaving out? Huh? And the VIPs. Thank you. I'm not nervous, but I'm crazy. Okay, so VIPs. And everybody else is going to be shuttled in, and our designated shuttle site is the Ameristar Casino. And they've been kind enough to be a sponsor in terms of allowing us to have parking, lots and lots of parking there. And they have probably one of the bigger destination sites in the city, in the metro, whatever. So and I'd be welcome to take any questions, because you may have some.
Yeah, quite an event. How many balloons did you say?
About 50.
50.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I was just out in Colorado in Steamboat, and they had their balloon festival, and they had a Smokey the Bear in the shape.
Those are the special shapes, yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat. I haven't seen that.
Right, we've had Elvis in the past. We've had
Was that
Darth
the young
Vader.
Elvis or the old Elvis?
No, the old one in the leisure suit with the black pompadour. That was the balloon.
So the organization, so the 501c3, but what do you all do throughout the rest of the year?
Get ready.
Get ready for that.
But we are specifically benefiting the 4 charities for 2016 are Mayor James Slot. And we thought of this even before we decided on Hodge Park, so this is not skewed, but we're going to do the Turn the Page literacy program. We're inviting people to bring a new or gently used book. We're also doing Warriors Ascent, which is an organization that was founded a couple years ago by veterans, for veterans, to help prevent suicide and also PTSD. It's been clearly vented and doesn't have some of the baggage that wounded warriors had. We're also doing the American Stroke Foundation and Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Those are our, now, in addition to that, we also provide vehicles through participating in the festival. So if a not-for-profit is doing the being greeters, we're paying them to do it. We're making a contribution to their church or their not-for-profit or wherever, on top of, look, he's looking at his watch, on top of the 4 designated charities.
Yeah, that's great. And how many, so a crowd of 20,000 you're expecting?
I would say probably more realistically, because we're shuttling probably around 15,000 on Saturday, around 10,000 on Friday, and about 7,500 on Sunday. Sunday's Family Day. Our tickets are cheaper. We're having 5 bands and the balloons, but we're not doing headliners.
What are the ticket prices?
On Friday, they're $49 a person for adults, $20 for children, and there are family packs as well, so you can save on that. Saturday night, because it's loaded with the 3 out of the 4X, it's $59. Same thing for kids. On Sunday, it's $18 for adults and $8 for children. So we're trying to please everybody.
Cool.
Where are we going to be able to get the information, website or?
Thank you. Thank you for asking. Our website address, you can go to it either rhythmandballoons.org, but you have to remember how to spell rhythm. So we have an other site which will also take you there because the software does that sort of thing. And it's kctunes, TUNES.org. Isn't that easy? kctunes.org.
Sounds great.
Anything else that I can add or that you're confused or
I
want to
guess
know
the
about?
comment I'll make is your flexibility is marvelous in that we got this very short time frame on it and put a lot of bells and whistles on you, and you were able to comply and get it all done. Very impressed by that, and we're really looking forward to it.
Thank you. Well, we're impressed by your flexibility, and we're so impressed by how responsive you were, because we were in a pickle of a situation, and you guys really stepped up to the plate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions? Good. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, resolution 30675, considering board approval for the Plaza Art Fair. Mark? Did I skip?
We need 7-4 first.
Oh, okay, sorry, I skipped one. 30674, board approval for the slide the city for, how do you say that? Slide the city for Kansas City. Okay.
Oh, yeah. we're here for
Yes,
this.
and another first-time event that we're here to talk about, and Terrence is going to introduce this, and I'm guessing the young lady in the green T-shirt is Erin. So, Terrence, tell us about it and introduce Erin.
Slot the City is an event that will potentially take place on Pershing on August 6th. I know we have a short turnaround, but we have here today all the way from Utah for this meeting, Erin Guerin, and I want to bring her up so she can answer any questions you may have.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. So Slide the City, we are an event production company that travels the country, and we specialize in 1,000-foot slip and slides. So it is a first-time event here to Kansas City, and we are partnered with Big Brother Big Sister as our charity partner, so they're helping us out. It's been a great partnership there. As Terrence mentioned, August 6th is the date that we are hoping for, and we are expecting around 2,000 people. And we'll have, we're planning on having a police presence there, as well as fire will be on site, EMS, medical. We also offer, we'll have local food trucks, and a few vendors will be there as well, but the main attraction is the slide itself.
1,000 feet.
Yes.
That's great.
So do you get going pretty quick then?
So our range of road grade is anywhere from 4% to 10%. This is a just over 6.3%. So it's a really good. It's not slow enough that people are going to be standing up and having to walk, but it's fast enough to keep them moving. The nice thing about Pershing is that it evens out at the bottom. So it evens out, so people don't come crashing in. They're actually going to naturally slow down at the bottom.
So like how long does it take to go the 1,000 feet?
Oh, good question. 30 seconds, maybe? I mean, they're not, that's a big estimate. They're not flying by any means. It's just a pretty consistent movement.
What are the costs per pass?
Yeah, there's 3 different ticket types. There's a single, a triple, and then there's an unlimited. And then there's also 3 different registration time periods. So they range from $10 to $60 is our highest. And that $10 is kind of your first wave of tickets. $60 is going to be like your day of for 3+ slides.
Are people in their swimsuits?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Slip and slide.
We need to have videos.
That would be helpful. It's hard to visualize.
Remind us, Aaron, where you've done this in other cities?
Yes, we've had last year we did 76 events all over the country. This year we'll do about the same, right around 80. So we've been everywhere from East Coast to West Coast.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Fun.
Any other
So
questions?
Pershing Road, August 6th.
That's right.
Okay.
Which is not
And
too
and it's a
far
rain or
away.
shine.
It is rain or shine. Yeah. It rain makes it
More fun.
better, right? Lightning, that's a different story, but
Okay.
right.
Cool.
David, are you involved in this?
From a permitting standpoint,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
We had an interdepartmental meeting with the city departments several weeks ago.
Okay.
Aaron came in for
Mhm.
David Stefano of Energy,
Great.
to help with outdoor event permitting and race permitting. And we've been working with Aaron for several months to make sure that all the permitting was in order, especially for a first-year event, different kind of event, just to make sure it's safe and it's going to work well for the city, and we're very satisfied.
Okay. So all the-
Thank you.
okay.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Hope
you
you have a
very
nice
much.
time in Kansas City.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, now, resolution 30675, board approval, concerning board approval for the Plaza Art Fair.
Yes, Commissioners, this is not a first-time event. It's like it's been around for 85 years, so it's a
85 years.
well-established event, which of course is the Plaza Art Fair. And again, this is Terrence's to bring forward, and I believe Jan, are you our guest here? So Terrence and Jan, go for it.
Again, Commissioners, we have before you the Plaza Art Fair for the use and concession of Ward Parkway. And I've been practicing this in my head. Jan Cichello. And I'm going to bring her up to say a few words.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. Well, this is our 85th annual art fair. It's September 23rd, 24th, and 25th. We'll continue to have 240 artists, 23 restaurants, 3 live music stages. We have a block of kids' activities with the Nelson Atkins, Arts KC, the Humane Society, St. Paul's School. We continue to rank of art fairs top 10 in the nation. So that speaks well for Kansas City, and we are thrilled to host it once again on the Plaza.
That's great. Do you track where people come from? Do you have a way to do
We
so?
try to. We do it through, we know that they come from, it's a good question. We definitely track our artists, and we know that they come from all over. We do some parking lot tracking, and we know that we draw from the region, definitely. From Wichita, Iowa, Oklahoma, our secondary trade area.
So that's just straight up looking at license.
Yeah,
plates.
yeah. And we'll do some other things, some contests, some surveys, some giveaways, and we'll track through that too.
It's a great event.
Yeah, we're rolling. We're moving fast and furious now. But
5 years, wow.
St. Luke's is our presenting sponsor again, and we're thrilled to have them back because they're our neighbor just down the street. And they come in and they kind of take over that middle area and engage visitors as they pass through. So it should be a great. We had 1,400 artist entries again this year, which is amazing, and it's a juried art fair, and we're very still respected in the arts community.
So 1,400, and you chose 240.
240. We bring in 4 judges. We choose 240 artists and about 35 alternates in a total of 13 different categories.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any study about people coming in for an entire weekend versus a day?
We know that our hotels sell out over the weekend. We know that we do bring that business into Kansas City. I don't have specific numbers. We work very closely with Visit KC, and they help us push it out, and that's where we've received our research information.
Okay.
And I'm happy to follow up on that too for you.
Thanks. Any other questions? Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a motion.
So moved.
Second? Anybody?
Second.
Okay.
I'm excited.
All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, Resolution 30676 concerning board approval and agreement with Missouri Department of Conservation.
Yes, Commissioners, this is an ongoing partnership we've had for about 10 years with MDC for managed hunts in several parks. You have a memo in your packet from Kevin Evans, and Kevin is here to answer any questions you might have, and we do recommend approval.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good
How
afternoon.
you doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Good.
Okay, we enter into our 11th year for the Managed Hunt program, and with your blessing, we have another successful year. New this year, we're going to remove Hidden Valley Park. We didn't have a good participation there, so we're going to remove that part. And at Hodge Park, it's going to be an all-women hunt. So we're very excited about that. So hopefully we get good participation there and keep our numbers up.
What is the time frame on this?
October 21st through January 15th, I believe.
It's October through January.
Yep, but Hodge is an exception. It's only about a month, 30 days there. Right after the Wilderness Run event until the end of the month of November.
Right. Okay.
What type of, so you're saying the hunt, are they using firearms as well as archery, or what are they using?
No, it's just archery,
Okay.
no firearms.
And I will comment that the health of the deer population in the metropolitan area has been enhanced greatly by
That's correct.
thinning out the herd over the last 10 years. A lot of people may not feel that this is the right thing to do, but it has had a tremendously positive effect on the health of the deer population. 15, 20 years ago, the deer population looked pretty shabby and was overcrowded, and there were a lot of problems with it. But this does have some benefit for the population, animal population.
Thanks for those comments.
Yes, of course.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Have a motion for the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
Kevin. Okay, next is Resolution 30677, considering board approval for agreement with the Kansas City Curling Club.
Yes, Commissioners, another event that we've been doing for several years. And Roosevelt is here today to answer questions you might have, and I think the memo is pretty self-explanatory, and again, this is coming up here relatively quickly. And there again, questions to Roosevelt.
So how many teams do they have down there?
They believe they're going to have somewhere around, I believe they said 30 teams.
30
30 teams, yep.
Mhm.
A little over 100 players, 3-day event from the 5th, 6th, and 7th. This includes catering. They'll also serve some alcohol, which is completely free and voluntary. Brings us approximately $6,000 in revenue. It's like I said, it's a 3-day event. Very unique to Kansas City, or very unique in our area, yeah.
Yeah, this is the 6th season.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you down there curling?
I love watching it. I cannot figure out what they're trying to
We've
do.
heard
So
that. Can't figure
every
it out.
time I watch it, I
Broom
guess.
speeds it up and the broom slows it down.
Yeah. So
You got that part.
it looks pretty easy, but
If you're interested in seeing something that's a little different and want to try to figure it out, it's a great place to go and kind of watch, just for an experience of it.
Oh,
It's
open to the
kind of
public.
fun.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's great that they're using Lion Creek, so,
Yeah, good.
thank you very much.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Can I have a motion? for
So
resolution?
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, resolution 30678 concerning board approval for a bid award to the Heartland Tree Alliance for neighborhood tree planting.
Yes, Commissioner, this is something a little bit different for us, but it's a great program to work with Heartland Tree Alliance to do of course, which is part of Bridging the Gap, to do a great tree planting program. And I think Kristen's about ready to come out of her chair here, so we're going to let her.
I've already bumped my head because I'm not
I saw you hit your head on that wind ledge back there, didn't you? So, and Patrick, are you going to lead this off?
Are you okay?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Good day, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'd like to let you know that Bridging the Gap is a community-based, not-for-profit organization that helps have the passion of growing trees and doing some other environmental stuff around Kansas City area. And it's our interest this time around to see what it can bring to the table to help us to improve the urban canopy of trees in this region. So we are looking at awarding contract to them to plant upward of 4,310 trees in total. And this will involve the Boy Scout Association, neighborhood groups, and also the volunteers. So, ready? Come and throw more light on it.
Good afternoon. I'm Kristen Riyad, and I'm the Executive Director of Bridging the Gap, which is the parent organization for Heartland Tree Alliance. And we really want to thank the board and also our good friends at Parks and Rec. We have worked with your organization for many years. We're a 25-year-old organization. We have lots of different environmental initiatives. But Heartland Tree Alliance was created in 2002 by concerned citizens after the ice storm of 2002, and we've gone on to plant, I think, well over 10,000 trees in this period of time, many of them in the city of Kansas City, Missouri. We're fortunate to be considered for this contract. We believe what we can offer in terms of the contract is a less expensive cost per tree. Typically, the city's cost to plant a tree in a right-of-way is somewhere around $540 per tree. Using contractors, we're able to do it for a little bit less than $400 per tree by using volunteer labor. We're also able to educate citizens in the process about the importance of trees, the proper planting of them, and we engage them to water for the first 2 years after the planting. And we follow up to encourage them to do that. And as you know, no tree has a very good chance if there isn't good watering done for the first couple of years in Kansas City. We're going to be doing a slightly smaller caliper of tree than traditionally. Parks has been planting in right-of-ways 2-inch caliper trees, and with this program we'll go to 1 inch to 1.5 inch caliper, which is much easier for volunteers to handle and doesn't require as much machinery to do the work. So it's a cost savings device to a certain extent, but it so happens that it also can be there's a lot of studies that show that the tree actually will do better as a result of being planted younger. They catch up within a few years in terms of their height and generally just tend to take to it better. So with this program, we'll be planting 500 right-of-way trees, and we'll also be planting, I think, is it 3,500, Sarah, riparian seedlings. This is Sarah, our forester for Bridging the Gap, Sarah Crowder. And the riparian seedlings will be planted by the Boy Scouts, and they will achieve a forestry badge and learn a lot about trees in the process of planting. We're hoping also to encourage some future foresters. And then the third element of it is we're planting, I believe it's 3 arboretums. So 3 20-tree arboretums, and by that we mean we will go into a park and plant different varieties, ideally 20 different varieties of trees in a KCMO park, so that people can be inspired by the many different kinds of beautiful trees that we have here to plant with greater tree diversity. So that's the total program, and we continue to work. Terry and Mark and Sarah and I met yesterday on trees as a climate resilience strategy for our city. We think this is going to play a very important role for us, and so there'll be more to talk to you about later in the year probably. But thank you.
So, a quick question.
Yeah.
So a 1 inch is, how tall is it? Just, I know it probably depends on the,
Like 6, 7.
like how,
I'm going to say, Sarah.
about
yeah.
a person?
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little taller than a person. Yeah.
Okay. And a 2 inch would be what?
Maybe closer to 10.
Okay. Right.
Have you decided which parks are going to get the Arboretum trails, or is that something that's coming along later on?
We have a meeting set up in 2 weeks. to discuss
Lovely.
that very thing. So we're looking to spread them out, so with maybe one within each district.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where was the one that we just?
We did complete one in Minor Park, so very
Would you
south.
mind coming up here too?
Oh,
Just
come on
kinda
up,
just
Sarah.
So we can get you on the microphone. Camera, thank you.
Sarah, the question will be, which park north of the river?
I don't know which park north of the river.
We just stole Sarah away from the city of Overland Park, so she's learning.
Welcome to the good
Yeah,
side.
thank you. Thank you. I'm a Missouri resident. I'm happy to work on this side.
Indeed. Love
But
it.
no, we're going to be having some meetings to discuss that, and that's was kind of my general idea, is that we would split them up. But we did do sort of a pilot project earlier in May, and we planted 20 trees in Minor Park, so right there off Red Bridge.
Great. And so the
Yes.
500, what kind of trees will those be?
Those are going to be a very wide diversity.
Yes,
Yeah,
ash.
yeah. No ash.
There's
No ash.
No Bradford pears.
No pears. I've kind of worked up a little bit of a list, and I'm working with Alice Hannon from the Forestry Department to make sure that we get the diversity that is needed. But in my mind, if we can get, at least 10 or 15 different kinds of trees, that would be doing good. If we could get more than that, even better. But availability will be our biggest culprit.
Right.
Will most of them be indigenous species?
Yes.
Okay.
As many as possible. We will try to do natives, or those that have native parents that maybe are across or something like that.
Because I guess maybe Terry told us this, but that there's, in the next decade or so, going to be a tree shortage from the nurseries?
There is. I don't even think a decade. I think sooner than later, just because of development. As it lulled a few years ago, tree nurseries stopped planting as much.
Weren't selling them to builders or whatever?
Yes, because they weren't selling. And now that we're starting to see that up curve, there's a lot of need. The other issue is there was a lot of ash. So they're not, they kind of had to ditch all of those that they had planted and spent time on. Another one that we're trying to avoid is like red maple. We have a lot of red maple in our city, so that's another one that the growers have a lot of, but we'll try to avoid.
And why we'll avoid that one?
The same idea. As an urban forester, you do not want mass quantities of one species
Of anything.
of a monoculture.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nothing in particular. Because we have too many already.
We have too many already, and then personally, I don't believe they do very well in our right-of-way situations. They do better in your yard, in your front yard, backyard, but next to a street where it's hot, they don't tend to make it to maturity.
Okay.
Would you mind introducing Wendy?
Oh, please do.
This is our good friend Wendy Sangster.
Sangster with the Missouri Department of Conservation.
Great.
Urban Forestry?
Urban Forestry.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us.
Great partner to have. Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks. And thank you for this. This is a great partnership between all of you and the Boy Scouts and all that. That's
Yeah.
just wonderful to see things like this.
They're very excited about the project, and we'll be writing the curriculum to help them meet those badges, merit badges.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Cool.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Good job.
Motion for the resolution?
So moved. We all got on that one pretty quick. Second.
I know, we're actually going to plant some trees after this together.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you
So
very much.
excited, that's what it is.
That was the most excited I've seen. Okay, next one is Resolution 30679, concerning board approval, American Lawn and Landscape for ash tree replacement.
Yes,
Another
yes,
tree.
Commissioner's amendment to the contract. I know we had a little conversation at the pre-board workshop on this, and Terry is here to answer any more questions you might have on this particular item.
So basically, this is just a negative change order that frees up money for us to do more planting. And as I mentioned in the pre-board, the contract was previously structured where the planting was done at one price and then each individual watering was done at a second price. And we've decided to go back out and plant and water as all part of the original warranty. So this frees up some money that will be used for more planting. This, as you remember, we met with you, I think, a couple of board meetings ago in a pre-board workshop to talk about tree planting in general. So we are really beefing up our efforts along that tree planting with the contract you just approved, and then probably an additional $300,000 in private that we'll put out for private bidders, and hopefully start making up that gap between what we take out every year and what we plant.
Thanks, Terry. Motion,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next is Resolution 30680, considering board approval for She Digs It.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a recommendation to award work up at Lakewood Greenway. It's a lake project. You have a memo in your packet from Travis that outlines the scope. We talked a little earlier, we did only get one bidder, but we feel good about the price, and they're meeting their goals as far as MBWB, and we also would ask that you include a 10% contingency. And if you have any questions beyond that, Travis is here to answer them.
So do we need to make a,
Well, I had a question. How did this compare with the engineer's estimate?
925?
I think it's on
Okay.
a little less.
Turn page.
Okay.
925.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. That
50,000.
the estimate that came out originally for this bid was lower than this. But the first bid that came in was a little over $1 million. It was about 450,000 more than this bid. So when we went out to bid again, the engineer contacted a lot of contractors and said, hey, what's the issues here? And most of them said it was time. They said time, and so they went out to bid again, gave more time, said they added more clarification. While it was out to bid the second time, they started looking at the unit cost and where the project was located, and they did adjust their unit cost up to the $975 that you see on the bid tab. $925, I'm sorry.
So this includes the first and second alternates? too?
It does not.
It does not.
No. The alternatives were additional work up on 46th
Oh, I
Street,
see. Okay.
and then modifications. The reason we didn't go with alternate 2 was because that would have modified our wetlands plan, and we would have had, because this was for tree and perennial planting instead of wetlands planting, so we would have had to go back and modify that mitigation plan.
Okay. Good. Any other questions for Travis? Okay, can I have a motion
So
to
moved.
approve the amount with the 10% contingency? Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Travis.
Sure.
Travis,
The next one, too.
yeah, wait for the next one here, too.
Okay. Resolution 30681, concerning board approval for Union Hill condominiums.
Yeah, you want to explain this one to us,
Sure.
please?
When folks do things that that we like to see in the boulevard, like enhancements as far as decorative sidewalks, tree planters, trees, that sort of thing. Additional items, like I said, we like to see those things in the boulevard or parkway right-of-way. We just don't like to be responsible for taking care of those things. So to address that, we enter into what's called covenants to maintain that are filed and recorded with the land, so that whoever the property owner is, no matter if one developer leaves and another one comes in, then it goes with the property. And so this is the next step. We had an agreement that went from 29th Street to 30th Street along Gillum, and then this goes south of 30th Street then for their next two addresses. So, and the same thing, they're putting in front of those condos, they're putting in the tree planters and so forth, just like they did on the other two.
Great. Okay. So this is adding a block?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Love it.
Any questions? Okay. Motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Travis. Okay, last resolutions, 30682, considering board approval for change order 2 with Mega Industries.
Right.
Mark?
Yes, please, Travis, again. This is change order 2, Mega. It's pretty straightforward. A little additional work, and as you can see in the memo, the locations and the count numbers that go with it. And anyway, it adds a little time too to wrap it up till December of this year. So I think pretty straightforward. If there are any questions you might have, Travis is glad to answer those.
Any questions? Motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Travis.
Sure.
Director's report. Actually, you're back up again.
Yeah, Travis.
We'll pull up
What
the
are you going
chair.
on?
Okay. But you might want to know, when you ask the question, how long it would take you to get down the hill to go that 1,000 feet. She said 30 seconds.
Right.
That's if you're going 22 miles an hour. So that's a pretty good clip down the hill. So
In your swimsuit. Oh, my
just thought I'd throw that in.
So Travis, would you tell me how you calculate 6.3% also?
Exactly.
She said it's 6.3% grade.
That's correct.
Tell us how to calculate that.
That's rise over run.
Right,
Gotcha.
so we're on.
All right, gotcha. So 1,000 feet would generate about height at the top of 25th Street, so that's how you calculate that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Rise over run.
Good deal.
Very
So
good.
you're
We
going to
had-
be there, Travis, then, to go slide KC.
No, because that's where gravity comes in. The bigger you are, the more gravity impact there is. So,
You may be going 27 miles an hour.
so that could easily double. So,
How do you,
What's the speed
how do you
limit?
quantify mass?
Let's talk about multi-square park. How's that?
back to the turf project.
Pictures in the park here.
A little turf project this past week. Scott's Turf offered a grant, and they work with MLB and in this case the Kansas City Royals here in town to find locations to put their grant in. What they do is a sod infield, and Cal Ripken Jr. Foundation gets involved because they do the construction through their construction arm, which is Sports Field Incorporated, for these little projects. And this crew came from a project down in Houston up here this past week to do this project, and then they were leaving here to go to Atlanta this week. And it's not a large project, but it really did a lot to spruce up the fields out there, and we were fortunate enough to have irrigation at those fields. And I talked to Lou, his crews were able to extend the irrigation over to pick up that grass infield over there and complete that work. But the work on the grass infield was done last Friday, and then 3 players and their coach from the Guadalupe League went out for the pre-game at the Kauffman Stadium before the Royals game, and was recognized. And so it was a pretty neat partnership with them. So
Cool.
That's good.
I think they've contacted Heidi trying to get a ribbon cutting sometime later this summer, they said, set up for the park, so.
Good, yeah. That was nice going up there during the All-Star game for the work that was done up there, so this is even more, so this is a really nice park and up high up there. It's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, it's neat. Thanks, Travis.
Thank you.
Sure.
It's great.
Marketing report, Heidi, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, since we last met, we had a couple of big events. We had our July Feast of Fountains, which took place at Anita Gorman Park, and that was our biggest one yet. We had about 500 or so people attend, and they loved it. We had a great band, great food, great weather. That's really what did it, probably more so than anything. But we have another one coming up August 11th, and that's going to be at the Spirit of Freedom Fountain. And so that's actually our kind of next big thing. We also then did have the big picnic on July 17th that we did in partnership with the Nelson Atkins, and that also was our biggest one ever. We had about 5,500 people there.
That's great.
It was hot. It was hot. But we had some. We really activated our park more this year than we had in the past. We brought in the Casey crew, and they had a bunch of lawn games and music going, and that was a lot of fun. They have some crazy lawn games I've never seen, but everybody seemed to enjoy them. Luke's always on the cutting edge of what's new and hot. And then, yeah, pig pen.
Pig pen.
Pig pen.
Yeah, pig pen.
You throw a football at bowling
pin.
pins.
Yeah, so pig as in a pigskin at bowling pins.
Well, it makes so much sense. And then we also brought in the Imagination Playground, which we have up at Kansas City North Community Center, and we've been kind of traveling that around, and people love that too. It's the big blue blocks that kids play with. We did have a beer and wine garden in partnership with the Ethnic Enrichment Festival, and they did a pretty decent amount of sales, and we'll get a portion of that revenue as well. So love that event. It continues to be a success. Of course, Nelson Atkins is a great partner to work with, and we really enjoy that, and we will do it again next year on July the 23rd.
Cool.
That is, of course, our official National Park and Recreation Month celebration. Coming up this week, we have a continuation of the Art in the Park. The exhibit that's in Ilis Davis Park. Have you seen it now?
Yes,
yeah.
I have.
With Funky. Every day you get to look at that, yes.
That's right.
Of course, the exhibit's just there every day, the art installations, but then at the last Friday of each month through September, we'll have actual performances. And so that will be going on through the lunch hour this Friday, 11:30 to 1:30. Have some food trucks there as well, so you can come and have some fun and watch dancing. And then there's also going to be a weaving demonstration as well on Friday. Of course, then as I mentioned, we have the next Feast of Fountains, August 11th at Spirit of Freedom, followed shortly thereafter a Rock the Block, the Mayor's Big Party at Union Station, and then we jump into the Ethnic Enrichment Festival, and there we keeps going. You have a list there, and I'll be happy to talk about it at future board meetings. You can see our social media numbers just keep growing, so that's exciting. And we did have some interviews with some marketing firms who had presented to help us out with the website and PR and marketing enhancements last Friday. We've narrowed it down to a couple of them, and we're asking for some more information, and then we'll hopefully make a decision and have an agreement with you, our marketing firm at the next board meeting.
Great.
Okay.
Good. Thank you, Heidi.
Great, thanks.
Okay, public hearing, the only one we had was Sarah Crowder, and she's already spoken to us, the forester, so let's see if we have anybody else. Calendar review.
Yes, commissioners, coming up, like we've pretty much gone through the month of July, so I guess we're going to be working our way into August. Next board meeting is on the 9th. Have a Platte County Parks Partners meeting on the 10th. We may have a new director of Parks and Recreation in Platte County by that time as well. It's in the process right now being discussed at the commission. And then a couple of our partners, Liberty Memorial Board of Trustees, Life Theater Board of Trustees, and the KC Museum is on the 25th, and then of course the next board meeting is on the 23rd. I'm going to be out the next 3 days. I've got some out-of-town company, so I'll be in the city, but just not in the office the rest of this week. And then of course then that brings us into the month of August. A couple other things worth mentioning. Anna Marie brought to our attention this partnership with the Smithsonian, Barrios and the Big Leagues, which is about Latinos in baseball. which is coming up on the 12th and 13th of August. She laid out a program and gave you some flyers and information on that, of course. So that's a great event. Also, there's going to be a council resolution on that to support that, since that's a good partnership with the Smithsonian. I believe that's docketed for one of these upcoming Thursdays. August 11th, so that'll be coming forward on that. And also something, too, that fountains are a challenge for us right now, and they always have been. We just did a major renovation of the block fountain, which is a beautiful event. Unfortunately, on Saturday, the water main that goes to the block fountain severed, as in it. And Lynn Horsley, you were there to watch that water line break?
No, I wasn't there. I was there when the fountain was beautiful.
Yeah, well,
I know about the water main break.
if you go down Persian Road today, the fountain is not operating. And the reason for that is there was a ruptured water main. And of course, what happens, we've learned this time of the year, when it gets really dry and really hot, water mains tend to break. Well, it broke, and the water main can be repaired. Problem is that when the water main broke, it flooded the pump room. So we have a lot of equipment in there, and electrical components and computer components and things like that. So, and with the fountains down till we can assess all the issues, and Travis is working with the architects and the engineers and they're all very quick to step forward to assist. So we're in that assessment phase, and so we'll get it back on. It's just going to be a disruption in service for a little while on the block fountain.
Was that one of the older mains, or it seemed like it'd be?
We are in the process. We were down there this morning with our folks and the folks from Water Services. It's in the island there in Persian Road, and we're not asking. There's some new mains and some old mains down there. We're not quite sure. We're still checking into it. But even the newer mains can sever when you get these kind of dry conditions sometime, because they're slip joints is what they are. And so anyway, we'll get her figured out and get it taken care of. But anyway, it's a little disheartening since that fountain was looking so darn good, after it was
it's such a great fountain
kicked up in
down
the
there.
season this year. So,
especially when the view of Kansas City is and TV
Yeah.
is always that.
That's
from the Liberty
very
Memorial down
important.
to the Union Station.
So anyway, just be aware, and we'll keep you posted on where we are on that. So,
Thanks for the update there.
you're welcome, sir.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, meeting adjourned.